Have you ever stopped to think about people out there that are suffering? Most of us take our safety and our well-being for granted. But every 9 seconds in the USA, a woman is assaulted or beaten. Hi, my name is Erin. I'm from the Lake 4-H Club of Muscatine, Iowa, and I'm going to inform you about domestic violence. At the beginning of the year, I led my club in doing a fundraiser for the local domestic violence shelter. Our plan was to raise awareness for domestic violence while earning some money for the cause. We raised $500, and every club member donated supplies for the domestic violence shelter. All of this money and supplies went to the domestic violence shelter in Muscatine, Iowa. With that mission accomplished, my goal was to raise awareness. A lot of us are unaware of the domestic violence that goes on everywhere, and some of the statistics and facts about it may shock you. Now let's look at the statistics. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, the NCADV, an estimated 1.3 million women are victims of domestic violence each year. That equates to 3,561 victims every day, nearly 25,000 victims each week, nearly 107,000 victims each month. Domestic violence is a problem everywhere. It's not just for people who choose bad boyfriends or marry bad people. Even nice guys can be abusive. The thing about it is what's on the outside is not necessarily what's on the inside. So if a person looks pretty, that doesn't mean on the inside that he is also perfect. Historically, females have most often been victimized by someone they knew. Studies show that if a boy grows up with domestic violence all around him, he will think it is the right thing to do and repeat it to his girlfriend, wife, or child once he gets older. In fact, according to the NCADV, these boys are twice as likely to abuse their families when they grow up. According to the NCADV, 1 in every 4 women will experience domestic violence in her life. Look at your family. You probably have a mother, maybe a sister, maybe 1 or 2 grandmothers, and a few aunts and cousins. So let's say you have 8 females in your family. 2 of those 8 will experience domestic violence in their lives, and in some shape or form, it will probably change them for a very long time. Now let's move on to the impact domestic violence has on children. According to the organization Futures Without Violence, 15.5 million U.S. children live in families in which partner violence has happened at least once in the past year, and 7 million children live in families in which severe partner violence has occurred. In a single day in 2007, 13,485 children were living in a domestic violence shelter or transitional housing facility. A Michigan study of low-income preschoolers found that children who have been exposed to family violence suffer symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorders, such as bedwetting or nightmares, and are at greater risk than their peers of having allergies, asthma, headaches, and flu. Children aren't exempt from being abused. Because kids are so much smaller than the adults that abuse them, they don't have as much as mental stability as adults. They don't have the voice to fight back either. Kids are forever scarred by one instance involving domestic violence. Domestic violence isn't just a national problem. It happens here in Iowa too. For example, my county, Muscatine, Iowa. The Sexual Assault Domestic Abuse Advocacy Program of Family Resources in Muscatine, Iowa served 2,252 clients in the fiscal year of 2011. That number is up 81% from the fiscal year of 2009. At an average cost of $636.72 per client, that equates to a staggering cost of over $1.4 million a year. There are several ways you can help to reduce the impact of domestic violence. In Muscatine, Iowa, if you are a victim, you can call for help. 1, 563-263-8080 is a number in Muscatine that you can call. This line is staffed 24 hours a day. Be aware that it could happen to you and be safe. Donate money to family resources. Donate supplies. If you find yourself in a financial position, there's no need to donate. You can also volunteer at the shelter. So now you've learned some key information about domestic violence. There are so many awful things that go on with domestic violence beyond what I've listed. Let's review what we've learned. We've learned that 1 in every 4 women will experience domestic violence in her life. That's 25% of women. We've also learned that domestic violence has devastating effects on both adults and children. Domestic violence is a huge problem, and it's not just something we can ignore. Think about it. Ask yourself the question, if this was me, would I want help? Are there any questions?
How did you get interested in this topic?
The question was, how did I get interested in this topic? Well, when I was doing my record book last year, I decided that I wanted to do something that would help with children because I realized that I am very lucky. I'm lucky to have the family that I do, and not so many people are as lucky as I do. So I researched into some things that I could do in Muscatine County to help with children who are abused, and I found domestic violence, which is also helping women. And then I got it. Are there any other questions? If there are no other questions, this concludes my presentation.